Okay, we should be live here, folks. Okay, yes, we are live. Awesome. Very cool. We're looking forward to it. Today we have an interesting topic, the most common mistakes that real estate beginners make. Beginner fix and flippers, I should be specific. We're, six-figure house flipper here. So we're live in the Facebook group. This is the Facebook group for people who are in flipping or they want to get started in flipping. This is the group for you. So this is what we're going to be covering today. Most common mistakes. Let me give my web camera a chance to adjust here. Hey, there we go. Great. So basically what we talk about in this group is fixing and flipping houses. How do you buy them? How do you renovate them? How do you sell them? All these important things are very important. So let's talk about, let's get into it. As we get into it, if you're watching on the live, comment #live. If you're watching on the replay, comment #replay. And what that does, that helps everyone see what we got going on here. Everyone sees this great group we've got going on, and they can join in, they can learn with us. And so if you can do that, do it as a favor to me, #live, #replay, and we can really get into it. Before I get into I'm going to cover basically three. There's a lot of things, but I'm going to cover mostly three here, the most important. But I want to cover first my background, so guys know who I am and that I'm reputable. So again, my name is Victor. I'm out of Gainesville, Florida, which is kind of north central Florida. I full-time fix and flipping. So I did about 20 flips last year, 30 flips this year's the goal. These are fix and flips. This isn't wholesale. This is buying it, renting it, renovating it, selling it. So every step of the process, A to Z, is what I cover. So there's that. Yeah, so let's get into it here. Probably the most important one, or the one that trips up beginner investors the most, is high on ARV. So first off, let's talk about what ARV is. ARV is after repaired value. So that's like the retail price, like when you go to sell your property, like how much can you sell it for? How much can you sell it for? Like after repaired value. So once it's all fixed up, pretty nice, what can you sell it for? So that's what we cover. So that's ARV. And the thing a lot of beginners make the mistake on, let me get this camera adjusted. It's kind of bothering me, just me being not in the middle. What a lot of beginner investors don't realize, so when you're figuring out ARV, you do what's called comps. So comps are comparables. So you look at like comparable properties that are similar to yours in the same area. So that's the key distinction there. Like similar properties in the same area. So what that means, that can mean a lot of things. So it has to be sold though. So I see a lot of beginners make the mistake. They look at like pending or for sale. They say, oh, well, the property across the street is for sale for $250. So I should be able to sell mine for $250. Like, wait a second. No, because it has to be sold and then it can be counted as a comp. So very, very important and key distinction. And I see a lot of wholesalers too, like make the mistake. They look at the pending sales, like they have like, okay, these are the properties that have sold. If these pending, sell, then we're good. If it's pending and it sells for what it was listed for, then we're good. You don't know what it's going to sell for. You don't know if it's going to go through. So it's hard to look at that as a comp. I'm going to show you guys actually an example, because I made this mistake more recently than I'd care to divulge. I have this property here. This was a flip of mine. It's under contract. Awesome. Fingers crossed everything goes through nicely. This is it. You guys can look at the property here. When I was looking at comps, I made the mistake of looking at pending. So this happened to me recently. So it's a good lesson. Let's go to sold. Let's go to sold last 6 months. I want to find the specific house. So okay, it's right here. So when I bought the place, I was fingers crossed, like, okay, I hope this one closes, hope this one closes, hope this one closes, because it's a very similar square footage, almost the same neighborhood. So like, hey, if this one closes, it's going to be a great comp for me. And here's what happened. So it was listed and went pending for $349.9. And that's basically what I wanted to sell mine for. I wanted to sell mine for $350. I'm like, boom, awesome. I'm going to be able to sell mine for $350. And then what happened, look, it actually closed for $320. So it's off by about 30 grand. So just because it says pending for a specific price doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be selling for that price. So you just guys have to be careful. So a lot of beginners make the mistake of like, hey, they're way too high on the ARV because they're looking at these pending and like the future sales. You just have to be very careful with that. So that's the first thing, like the pending and the other thing. The other thing I see beginners make the mistake on is they just look at like one comp. And you want to get, I'd say at least a good 2 or 3 comps that are similar. So if you get one property that's sold for that much and it's kind of an outlier, and who knows what happened, but it's sold for much more than the other properties, but the other properties are kind of here at this level. Like that's the level you want to be on. That's what actually matters, is like not just one outlier, like, hey, here's one comp that proves the ARV. It's like, okay, you have to have like a good basis, like 2, 3 at least, because then you can be a lot more confident in it. So I see a lot of like people who send me deals, they're way too high on ARV because they're like, okay, what about that comp that sold across the street? Well, that one was like, who knows what happened there, but that's just one. And you might luck out and sell it for that much, but it's pretty risky is my point. That's what I want to share first. So typically they're high on ARV. And as you can imagine, if you can't sell a property for as much as you want, like you might not make as much profit as you want, or you might lose money. So you got to be careful with that. So high on ARV. Second, as you guys, if you're maybe catching the trend here, is low on repairs. So they think like, oh, I can renovate this whole house for 30,000, and they go through the entire process. Get this readjusted here. They go through the entire process. It's not like 40,000, 50,000. And I've seen that a lot. I mean, beginners like, hey, I'm going to put in 50,000 into this property, and then I'll make 20,000, and they quickly underestimate their repairs, and they're like 80,000 into it, and they're like, oh shoot, I'm going to lose 10 grand doing this deal. But then it's too late, and then they got to commit, and they're like, oh shoot, they have to commit, and they lose money. So I've seen that a lot with repairs. How to overcome that? I have a free repair estimate guide. So comment #repairs, and then I'll send you that repair estimate guide. So it has everything broken down. It has like how much does a kitchen cost, flooring, roof, all that stuff is extremely important. So we'll really cover that as well. So that's going to be key. So we'll cover that. So that's the important thing there. Yeah, so low on repairs. So as you guys can imagine, if you're low underestimating your repairs, overestimating your ARV, you're going to quickly get upside down in the deal and lose money. And that's the biggest fear. I've never lost money on a deal, but that's the biggest fear of a lot of investors. It's like, hey, what if I lose money on this deal? Like that's not a place people want to be in. I don't want to be in that place. You want to make money, especially with all the time you put into buying it, to fixing it up, to selling it, and everything that goes around that. Like you want to be making money. So that's pretty obvious too. But I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page there. So that's the first two. So high on ARV. Second one is low on repairs. Again, comment #repairs if you want me to send you that repair guide, just so you never have that happen again. Okay, the final thing, and actually I've gone through all these mistakes, by the way, so don't think that if you're making these mistakes, like you're like, oh, I'm lost, I'll never be successful, because I made these same mistakes. So I think the second thing, and this is one of the things that I made a mistake on. So when I was getting started, I had a mentor 5-6 years ago, and I was still trying to figure out like what I wanted to do with my life, what I wanted to do. And he was recommending like, hey, you should get started in real estate. You should get started with flipping. And back then I was like, oh, what if I do this wood flooring business? What if I do this business, or like this business or this business? And the issue is I should have listened, because I eventually got into flipping. And if you know my story, I got started about full-time about 3 years ago. October 31st, 2018 is when I closed my first one. And that was a wholesale deal, and that kind of kicked me off. So I eventually did get started, but it took me a lot longer. So just getting started sooner rather than later is really key. Like I'd much rather you get started today and this year than wait 5 years. And that's the mistake I made. If I got started 6 years ago, who knows where I'd be today, in a much better place. Because for me, getting started 3 years ago, first year I did 2 flips, second year did 8, last year did 20. The goal is 30. So it's that exponential growth. It's not just linear growth, it's exponential. So where would I have been if I had, started 6 years ago, maybe out 40 flips a year, 50 flips a year. And that's 7 figures. So I'm missing out on all that income. So I one of my, maybe regret is too strong of a word, but just one of those things like, I wish I would have started earlier because I kind of messed around and farted around. I should have listened to him, but I didn't. And that's unfortunate. That's this mistake number 3, not getting started. And I've had a lot of students because I mentor people too. Like have been thinking about in real estate for 5 years and they finally get started. Like, yeah, this is amazing. Or they waited for 10 years. I think I've had like 20 years before, 8 years, and they finally get started. Like, what did they miss out on those 8 years or 20 years? They could have been, millionaires, multimillionaires by now, but didn't happen. So those are the 3 mistakes I want to share the most, guys. This is a pretty quick video here. So first is people getting high on the ARV, like overestimating what they can sell the property for. Second is being low estimate in terms of repairs. And then the third is not getting started, not really getting started. So it's waiting. It's like, hey, well, the market's too hot or the market's too cold, or I don't have the money, or I have the deals. I don't have, I don't know how to estimate numbers, or maybe I'm in the wrong market, or, I'll just wait till things settle down, or, there's always something. But time isn't ever perfect. So great. Well, I appreciate it, guys. If this was helpful, comment below like, yeah, this was helpful. Yeah, this was great. I can do like another most common mistakes. There's a lot of them. I can get into a little more detail. So if you guys want that, comment that below, like, hey, I want this, or you can say the opposite. If it wasn't valuable, I appreciate the feedback. You can always say like, hey, I thought this was a waste of time. I want my time back. That's fine too. At least I have feedback, so I know what you guys want, or I know how I can help you guys in the future. But I'm going to wrap it up there. I appreciate it. And you guys have a good night.